Are you happy at work? Statistically speaking, the chances are not good. So, 30% of people report being engaged at work in countless surveys, which means that 70% of people are unhappy at work. And the reason that people are leaving their jobs quite often is because of their boss. So a Gallup poll showed that 50% of people said that was the reason that they were moving on. Now, in popular culture, the depiction of a boss is often something of a petty tyrant, maybe somebody who delights in making other people miserable. However, it's actually the daily mundanities of management which are really driving people away. Now, I should probably stop at this point and admit that I am a manager. So why am I advocating getting rid of managers? Well, I actually never trained to be a manager. That was never my career goal. That was never my aspiration in life, to be a manager. I'm actually a software developer by trade. I like to think I'm a pretty good software developer. But these days I spend most of my time managing other people and their work. So that skill that I spent so many years honing is now left on the shelf to gather dust. There's also a financial cost to management. So 33% of your payroll is probably spent on management. And if you have a company of 100,000 employees, 11,000 of those are managers. There's also the cost of the hierarchy. So it can be glacially slow. If you're hiring people, if you need to spend some money, those things go up and down chains of approval, waiting on very busy people at the top of the organization to make a decision. And this doesn't lead to happy people. 12% more productive, that's what happy people are. So what makes people happy? Dan Pink points us in the right direction. He talks about having a purpose, mastering your skills, and having autonomy. In agile software development, self-organizing teams are seen to be a real feature which make things work. And some companies struggle with letting go of control. However, those that do report really great success rates. And some organizations are going even further. So Buurtzorg is a Dutch healthcare organization. They have 8,000 nurses and no bosses. So they have an entire network of self-organizing teams. And those teams look after everything. So they provide healthcare, they look after admin, they look after planning, and with really great results. So Ernst & Young actually estimated that if every healthcare company in the Netherlands followed their lead, they could save 2 billion euros every year. So we get rid of the traditional hierarchy, the dominator hierarchy based on power and position. But that doesn't mean that we have no hierarchy at all. In fact, what we end up with is a thing called an actualization hierarchy, which is based on skills and influence and recognition. And that's certainly the experience of Valve, which is a software company. They have about 300 employees and no bosses. They claim to have a flat structure, but actually if you dig under the covers, there's all sorts of informal social networks which make that company tick. So this is to say that management is not the same as leadership. So getting rid of management doesn't mean we're getting rid of leadership. In fact, we actually need more leadership in this model. Leadership from every employee. And leadership from every employee is one of the key features of holacracy, which is a system of self-organizing governance, which was pioneered in the United States, and most notably has been adopted by the shoe retailer Zappos. So in holacracy, you have a concept, instead of your traditional job titles and job descriptions, you have a role. And it's very distinct that the role is separate from the person who fills that role. And what that means is that anyone can change the organizational structure because there's a lot of flexibility. And everyone is encouraged to change the structure at regular governance meetings. Anyone can propose a change, and then those people who are affected are consulted about that. But it's not management by consensus. So anyone is consulted, but nobody can halt progress. So back in March, the CEO of Zappos sent an email to all of the company, and he was talking about their progress towards holacracy, and he said you can either get on board with it or you can leave the company. And actually what happened was that 14% of people took him up on the offer. They'd got 3 months severance and they left the company. So this is to say that change is not easy. None of this is easy. However, if you go back to that statistic that only 30% of people are engaged at work, surely we owe it to ourselves to try something different and try and make a change. And if you can't get your organisation to change, then instead change your organisation. Thank you.